Let justice roll on like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream. That is God's plea to his children over 2,600 years ago through the prophet Amos. God's children during the time of the prophet Amos, right, they are actually living luxurious lives. Right? They think everything is good, everything is grand, everything is at peace. But yet God sees the heart of his children. And even though they're going through the motions in their relationship with him, they're actually not living the life that God called them to. There's a verse in Amos where he calls the women cows and talks about how they're living this luxurious life. They're not taking care of the poor. That they are not living holy lives in obedience to him, and that they are not loving their neighbors. And so God speaks to his children, not just then, but through all of creation, and calls you and I, right, into that plea. Let justice roll on like a river, righteousness like a never-ending stream, right? Justice. Justice in God's economy throughout the scriptures is when the rich are always looking out for the poor, right? When we're always looking for each other, we have each other's backs, right? We're helping the oppressed out. We're not just living in our little bubble, right, of luxury or peace, but they're always going in other people's lives, people that don't have peace when we do have peace, and we're helping them out, helping our neighbors, right? And so the call for you and I today, and I think if you're watching this devotion, right, you are someone who is faithful in your activity with God and in your devotional life with God. But the question is, are you faithful, right, away from your devotional life? Are you actually listening? Are you obeying? Are you applying these truths into your relationships? Right? Are you living with justice? Are you helping people out? There's people around you that are hurting, and certainly you might be hurting. Right? And I pray that people step up and they come to you, and if they don't, that you know that God is there with you. But you and I are called to not just receive, but we are called to give and to live out our faith, right, in love towards each other. Someone taught me this years ago, right? To love God is to love your neighbor. Right? If you think you're loving God more, you should ask your neighbor, those closest to you, am I loving you more? Right? Because when we're loving our neighbor more, we're loving God more. If all we're doing is loving God, singing songs to God, but we're not doing anything towards our neighbor, what is that? That's what God is talking to his children about in the book of Amos. Right? You worship me with your mouth, right? But your heart, your actions aren't following this. And so I'll encourage you. Right? I think we all want to do the right thing. We all want to worship God the right way. We don't want to be called out, but yet God continues to call us out. But I want to encourage you today, and I don't know who your neighbor is, if you're married, if you have children, who those closest to you are in your life, but I would ask you to ask them, how can I love you better? How can I love you better? Right? Because I want to love you. I want to do the right thing. Are you hurting? Can I help you? Right? Look for ways to bring justice into this world, to help those who are oppressed, right? To help people in need. May our righteousness flow, our holy lives, our obedience to God flow like a never-ending stream that just keeps going and going and going. And may we truly worship God, not just with our mouths, right, but with our actions, with our hearts as we love our neighbors.